Last Saturday, this stadium echoed to ecstatic celebrations as Celtic clinched the first league championship for a decade. Tomorrow, Celtic Park hosts the Tennent's Scottish Cup final. But in between times, a revolution has taken place here. And today, Celtic's civil war broke out again. Here's Chick Young.
It's been another astonishing day in paradise. As fans called for the resignation of Fergus McCann and Jock Brown, Wim Jansen was launching an astonishing attack on the duo in a press conference called in a Glasgow hotel. And an hour later, McCann and Brown responded with a counter-attack from deep within Celtic Park. All this amid a confession tonight by sacked Borussia Dortmund coach Nevi Scala that he wants the Celtic job. Jansen, meanwhile, revealed that he wanted John Collins to return to Parkhead.
I think this should be a player for the future of Celtic too in this moment. So I have the ideas about how to make the team better.
So you tried to bring John Collins back to Celtic?
He was one of our ideas to make the team better from the first day when we came in. And David Hay and Murdo and me, we spoke about to try to make the team better. And he and Paul Lambert and they were our targets from day one.
9 new players come in here in this one season for £12.4 million. Backing a manager whose only commitment was for 1 year. And I think that's a pretty strong commitment made by the club for someone who's only thinking that short. I think that to go beyond that, we had to have someone who was going to commit himself to our system and work with us. And a final point I want to make is that I'm very delighted to have Jock Brown sitting here, and I hope he'll be here for a long, long time to come.
Would you be able to identify some of the players you wanted to get for Celtic and weren't allowed to spend money on?
Oh, in this moment, they told me I have no idea for the future of Celtic. That's what they told on the press conference, that I had no ideas about the future of Celtic. I have two teams to get two teams with new players in my mind, so that's not a problem. But they never told me how much money I could spend on that players. And if they can't tell me if I have to spend 2 million or 10 million or 20 million, I can't tell them any names.
He never asked for any money for players, nor did he have any discussion about would he be offered a budget for players.
But he says he asked you how much money he could have when he was in the job.
That did never happen. Towards the end, at the time we started to say to him for the next season, back in March, what are your plans? He said, well, just tell me how much money I have. I said, well, sorry, it doesn't work that way. You've got to tell us what you see has to be done here, and then we go and make sure that we can find a way to fund it.
Yeah, but his argument of that was if he said he wanted Ronaldo and
he knows, and excuse me for interrupting you, and he knows that's how it worked for this season.
But if he asked for the best 10 players in the world, which was what you wanted, I mean, that would...
Well, that's fantasy football, isn't it?
I'm hearing things this week that I've never heard before. I'm hearing complaints this week I've never heard before. I'm hearing opinions I've never heard before. Despite the fact that the forum was always there for that to happen. And when he was saying to me, for instance, on the policy of going to see players before you spend big money on them, and he said, that's not my policy, so stuff your policy effectively. When you're hearing that, you say, so, well, what is the approach that's being taken here? What's wrong with the policy? I did say to him, sorry, what do you think's wrong with this policy that you actually see players that are costing more than £1 million or what that's, which is the policy? What's wrong with that policy? Would you like to tell me? Because if you've got a good, cogent reason for... And I got my usual look at the floor, shrug of the shoulders, and nothing said.
He can't understand that people have their own ideas and their own minds. My feeling, he likes people who said every time yes to him.
I resent bitterly the insults to other people who have come into this club during my time here. And I would like to think that some of you who know me may not believe that to be the case. That is apparent and total nonsense. I brought in Murdo, didn't I? I've read stories to the contrary, but I brought in Murdo. I was the one who phoned Murdo and met Murdo at my offices at Harper McLeod to talk to him about coming to Celtic. David Hay was present for sure. But the name Murdo McLeod came from my lips. Is Murdo a yes man?
If someone else in the future takes over Celtic and Fergus McCann is gone, would you come back to the club?
Why not?
The continuing fallout at Celtic Park. Well, back to the Cup final now, and it's already been a good week for Hearts. Their youngsters won the BP Youth Cup, and defender David Weir was called into Scotland's World Cup squad. But now comes the really difficult part. This is the dressing room in which the Hearts players will make their final preparations before going out and attempting to win the club's first major trophy for 36 years. But earlier this week, manager Jim Jefferies took his squad to a place where generations of players of the past have starred on another big stage. Stratford-upon-Avon, home of the Royal Shakespeare Theatre, birthplace of the Bard. It's to the Garden of England that Jim Jefferies took Hearts this week at the invitation of a Rangers fan, Andrew Young, who hosted Scotland's Euro 96 squad at his National Farmers Union HQ. It's an inspiring location, evoking thoughts of performance's future.
Severe test for young McManus this, looking after Laudrup.
Gilles Rousset's uncharacteristic error in the Tennent's Scottish Cup final 2 years ago opened the floodgates for Rangers. They won 5-1.
No. I can't laugh at all about that because it was very, very bad. But as I said, you know, I tried to do better next game, and hopefully we can bring back the trophy. I think we improved a lot. 2 years ago, you know, to reach the final was a big achievement, you know. But this time, we've got the feeling that we can do it. And it's a big, big change, you know.
Only 4 members of that losing side are likely to play tomorrow, and defender Paul Ritchie is one of them. Although not bowled over by it, he was an older and wiser man for the experience when, together with then-new signing David Weir, they faced Rangers once more 6 months later in the Coca-Cola Cup final. Weir scored a third goal for Hearts, but by that time it was too late. Rangers won 4-2 thanks to Gaza.
Paul Gascoigne just kind of took over and scored 2 great goals, but we really thought we could have won that game.
I think they've all got their good points. You look at Negri for his goal scoring, Laudrup for his ability, and Jury just for his all-round attributes. Gordon Jury's gave me a hard time over the last couple of games, so I've got a couple of scores to settle with on Saturday.
I think just similar to players Paul's mentioned, also I don't think you can forget Ali McCoy. You know, he's always there or thereabouts, and a final like this, you know, the script's already written for him, so whoever's playing, we've got a clean sheet.
There's no sense of inferiority amongst the Hearts players about the monetary gulf that exists between themselves and Rangers. It's much ado about nothing, and next to nothing is what most of them cost. Colin Cameron at £225,000 is Jim Jefferies' most expensive signing, and the bosses had value for money too from the likes of Jim Hamilton and Neil McCann. Indeed, it was the ex-Dundee winger who sealed Hearts' place in the final in a dramatic semi against Falkirk. Do you think that he took a chance on you?
Definitely. Well, nobody else was willing to take a chance in Scotland, or England for that matter. I was ready to go abroad, but he showed confidence in me and he took a chance, and hopefully I've paid him that.
Like McCann, ex-Celt Steve Fulton has shown remarkable focus since teaming up with Jim Jefferies. This season he's again on the verge of the Scotland scene, and his boss will repay his newly blonded bombshell with the captaincy.
Me and wee Hosey had said we were going to do it, get our head down for the final, but wee Hosey's bottled out it, and well, I just went for it. Like my boys now were laughing at me when I was getting it done, but the boys have been all right about it, although I'm getting called the poor man's Billy McKinley.
I don't suppose you'll be laughing on the other side of your face should you go up and lift this cup, yeah?
Well, that's another thing. It's like a dream coming true as well. Like, usually Lockie would be there. Let's get a skipper on the side. If that happened, and let it being back at Parkhead and things like that, it would be unreal.
2 elder statesmen at Tynecastle have been in the game 18 years. Dave McPherson split his career between Rangers and Hearts and won 8 medals at Ibrox. But Hearts man John Robertson is aiming in what could be his final game to win just 1.
Of course I'd like to stay, because I think we're on the verge of doing something big, but as I've said before, if it is the last game and the manager decides that that's the end, then there'll be no animosity. I've had 18 wonderful years at the club, and it would be great, perhaps maybe ironic, if my last game was to bring the first honour, then the club could go on hopefully to bigger and better things. It's certainly geared that way off the pitch. It's certainly gearing that way now on the pitch with Jim Jefferies, Billy Brown, and a very young squad added to the more experienced guys like ourselves, and it can only get better on the pitch. So hopefully that first major honour can be the floodgates.
Indeed, you've known what it's like on the other side, Dave, with Rangers, because psychologically, is there a difference between the two clubs because Rangers have established a winning sequence over the years?
I would say so. There's definitely a mentality there that if you get to a cup final, you're going to go out and win it. Not to say that Hearts players don't do that. There's definitely a building up a belief of winning it, but we've still got to take it that stage further. And if we can do that, we can take it a stage further in everybody else's minds that we can win.
Hello, haha.
Jose Gatong has kept everyone smiling this week, but what would affix a permanent grin to the boss's face is if Hearts can quench their Scottish Cup trophy thirst after 42 years.
Ball, relieving the pressure, right up towards Celtic's goal mouth. Ball, still on the ball. Young, to Crawford, and it's a goal!
We've had this week John Cummins, Bobby Kirk, Freddie Glidden, all in the papers. And, you know, they're in there because they were the last people to win trophies and knows what it feels like. So it's time that they were replaced. I don't mean that disrespectfully. I just mean that it's now time when we're in the next final to try and get the people talking about the McCanns and the Camerons and the Richies and the Weirs. And it's bound to happen someday. And if you keep getting there, we just might get the Weir out of the green on the day. And hopefully that'll be on Saturday.
We won't lose them all.
It's 11 years since Rangers went through a season without picking up at least one major trophy. But that's the prospect that Walter Smith's side, still coming to terms with the loss of the championship, faces this weekend. For many of the players, it will be their last game for the club, and they're determined to mark the end of a decade of dominance in style.
It's the end of an era. Players who become household names will be forming an orderly queue at the Ibrox exits when they finally ring down the curtain on season 97-98.
When will I see you again? When will we share precious moments? Will I have to wait?
Among those departing, Stuart McCall, despite having a year on his contract to run. For baby Victoria and little Craig, it's the last chance to see Dad in a blue jersey.
I think it's only now that it's been sinking in that it probably could be my last game. I think everyone knows it's going to be Coisties and Durantes and Andy's and, like I say, Richards and Bryans. But it's only hit home to me recently that this could be one. And I think over the 7 years we've got through a lot of games and a lot of trophies through desire and hunger. And I think come Saturday, I think that's what will get us through again. There's a deep desire among the boys that are leaving to give Walter a trophy at the end of the season, and we'll be doing everything in our powers to do that.
And for better or for worse, Rangers are going to be a vastly different kind of football club next year, aren't they?
They are. I mean, you know, Wim Janssen's gone in at Celtic then. They say they've not many, you know, they don't have any Celtic men in there. Obviously, the likes of, you know, Paul Whitstay, Peter Grant over the years, Charlie Nicholas, Packy Bonner leaving. But they've flourished this season under that. There'll be a great heart ripped out of Rangers, as I said. I just hope that with the players that will be bringing in, I hope the younger lads, the Scottish boys like Derek McInnes, Charlie Miller, as I said, and Barry Ferguson, I hope there's still a few Scots in there that the fans can relate to.
In the last 9 years, they have won everything in Scotland, and this is very, very great. I think every player here became a legend in Rangers, no, in Ranger team and in Glasgow, I think. And it's very, very difficult, I think, after 9 years for everybody, but not just for this player to living and to change mentality, to change because, you know, I know in Scotland, but especially in Rangers, the team really is like a family.
Are we in love or just friends? Is this my beginning or is this the end?
I think my first game was Rangers against Slavia Sofia, semi-finals of the Cup Winners' Cup, '67. 1-0 at Rangers, goal from Willie Henderson. Roger Hine was in the team, who played in the same brass band, repeat, brass band, as my cousin Bobby.
So, were you ever going to be good enough to play for Rangers?
It's already title. So you see me play.
Yeah, I didn't want to say that.
You said I couldn't get a game for Sabitio.
You're the right height for that one.
There you go.
But did you ever nurse ambitions?
Of course, I think everybody did. Everybody. I mean, any kid that was in, like football, did either play for either Rangers or Celtic or whatever their team was.
And Johnny's hero, legendary 60s winger Davy Wilson.
That's right, he was. Aye. I've actually got his autograph. I got it when he was sitting on himself. He must have been about 9 at the time. And got it signed. 2 days later, he signed for Dundee United. So there you go.
Walter Smith would have liked Davy Wilson's Scottish Cup record. 5 finals, 5 victories.
When I left Rangers, I went to Dundee United. And Walter was just a young boy there. And I used to work beside his dad. And his dad asked me to keep an eye on his boy. And I did keep an eye on his boy. And I kicked his backside a few times. At that time, I said he was cleaning my boots, and I had the cleanest boots in the business, because Walter came from Carmyle and I came from the village of Newton, which was only the Clyde separated them. And I remember going once to Mexico with Dundee United, and Walter was there. And we had come in we were playing Mexico, and we had come in at half time, and we were playing at altitude. And here was this oxygen if you required it, and I remember Walter going to take some of this oxygen, and I gave him a kick up the backside and says, "Listen, boys for Carmyle don't need oxygen."
We had the feeling that the end of an era was approaching in October when Walter Smith announced he'd be stepping down at the end of the season after having guided the club to a record equalling 9 titles in a row. Very soon, Dutchman Dick Advocaat will take his place in the Ibrox dugout. Smith won't be leaving the club altogether. He's agreed to stay on for another 2 years in an as-yet undisclosed position. But still, his last match in charge is sure to be an emotional occasion. Rob McLean spoke to him.
And that Ali Mitchell goal surely kills off now Rangers' title challenge. Rangers are through to the final of the Tennent Scottish Cup.
Obviously, when you become the manager of Rangers, you have to win things, otherwise you wouldn't stay in the job. So, first and foremost, we would say that I think we've been successful in doing that. But I think one of the things as a manager, you would look at players who play under you. And I think one of the things that pleases me most is that the majority, not all, but the majority of the players that have played here have possibly played around the best football in their careers when they played at Rangers. And I think that's the most pleasing aspect, out with the fact that you have to be successful and win the trophies. That part of it means that as a manager, you would feel as though you're doing your job reasonably well.
What would go down as your biggest disappointment?
Funnily enough, my biggest disappointment was losing a cup final to Dundee United. The team that we had then were an exceptional team. They had an exceptional bond as a team. And they were in a situation where they could have gone on and won 2 domestic trebles in a row. They had already created a Scottish record by winning 7 domestic trophies in a row. But the back-to-back trebles eluded them because of the Dundee United game. And that was probably my biggest disappointment, because that team, if anything, deserved that accolade, I think. They played exceptionally well over that 2.5 year period to win these trophies, and I was really disappointed that they lost out on that one.
Does it cast a shadow over your reign here that you've ended in terms of league championships with a failure after so many successes?
Well, currently it does, yeah. That's the way they would feel. I would feel at the present moment. But I suppose when we look back over a period of time, if somebody said you're the manager for 7 years and you've won a championship in 6 of those years, then you wouldn't settle for that. But it doesn't take away the disappointment of not winning the championship this year.
Can we expect your new role at Ibrox to be that of general manager?
I've been asked to stay on for another couple of years with the chairman, which I said I'm more than likely to do. It will not require a contract or anything like that. And the job specification will not be clear until Big Advocate takes over and we sit down and can discuss that.
If you weren't to be involved in football, I mean, are you ready for that? Are you ready for that stage where you're not involved in football management? Because people like Keegan Dalglish in recent times have got out of football and then the drug has hit them and they've desperately wanted to get back in. I mean, could you at this stage be ready to be away from the team management side of things?
Yeah, really the team management side of things. As I say, I've been offered the opportunity to stay at Rangers. I've loved my time here and I love the club, so that for me is the biggest pull. But you never know. I think everybody, if they could do, would maybe enjoy a break from the job that they do, and then that in the end might help them if they're to go back into it again. And I can't see a situation where at some stage or another we'll go back to football management.
Would you imagine it's quite difficult to give that up when that's in your blood and it's been there for so long?
Well, it'd be very difficult to give it up. As I say, you won't feel it at the start. I don't think you'll feel it then because you get a break from what's been your normal job for the last 7 seasons. And when you're involved in coaching in football, which I've been for the last 18 seasons, then it gets a little break from, you get a little break from that. But, you know, the lure is still there. I mean, I still want to be involved in football. So I can see at some stage or other going back to that if I get an opportunity.
If Dick Advocat came to you and asked you for one piece of advice about what being Rangers manager means, what would you tell him?
Winning. You've just got to win. It's as simple as that. The demands of the job are none other than that. If you win, then you'll never have a problem.
Tomorrow's Celtic Park will be split just about evenly, with the Rangers supporters there and in the South Stand, and the Hearts supporters taking up the entire block of this new North Stand. This bunch are perhaps some of the longest suffering supporters in Scotland. 12 years ago, their team blew a league and cup double in the space of just 8 days, and they've been an emotionally fragile lot ever since. So what does it take to be a Jambo? Last weekend, we attempted to find out.
Where have you been?
This is George Ego.
What you want, a drink?
Hi, pal. You might recognise him. This is Ego 12 years ago when Hearts blew the league at Dens Park. But he and his mates are well over it now, sort of.
Hi, bees are doing!
Big Moose is part of a large family herd.
Elderly Moose is through there.
Elderly Moose?
There's Elderly Moose, Big Moose, his dad through the back there. That's Elderly Moose. And the Big Moose, wee Moose, the mice.
There's a mice in there.
The mice is in. There's one of the mice in.
One of the mice is in. Scotland, it's a mice.
Just look for a hole in the skirting board, you'll find them.
Actually, the mice are outside waiting for the bus.
I'm not hitchhiking. He's late. He's late.
It's Baldy John's turn to organise the transport.
Oh my God, the boys are going to hang me. They're going to hang me.
But at last, the boys and their lucky mascots are on the way.
Come on, Hector. Hector! Hector! The bus has got an MOT, hurrah! The bus has got an MOT, hurrah! Hurrah! The bus has got an MOT.
Up ahead, serious roadworks and serious talk about the Cup.
Rangers might have spent 15 million, we've spent under 500,000 on players that are keeping up with them. That's what really attractive about Hearts' way that they play.
Donkeys.
Tootie is the team tipster.
What do you think of the cup final?
Aye. The first one. 5-1. Never saw a goal yet. No. Too drunk.
I was rejected.
Second one, we should have won. Coca-Cola Cup final, should have won. This one we'll win it.
I think so.
I think so.
No.
I think Gordon Durex has just lost it now.
I'm busting the toilet. Right, let's go. That's it. 5-3, let's go. 5 past, we should be winning about 6-0, hopefully.
What is the essence of being a Hearts fan? What does it mean to be one? What do you need?
Sense of humour. And a brass neck.
Keep on going, keep on going!
Great ball. I think we will win the cup, actually. As I've told you before, if we do win, I'm not sure if I'll go back.
I've been to cup finals in the bus before, and the place is... The bus
Champagne
is...
breakfast,
the
8:30.
champagne breakfast at 8:30 at the Beachfield Hotel, Dunfermline, and after that...
Well, we'll be greeting at 10 to 5.
We'll be singing at 10 to 5.
My ambition was to score 188 darts. I scored 188 darts after playing for 2.5 years. I could never ever do it. Scored 180, sent my darts the next morning. Never ever played again. But still, I feel as I'm on a mission now. I was like some of the boys in the bus. We Tootie, he says he's not going back if we win. But that'd be a hard thing to stop doing. It's a great habit, eh? Because football's a great game. Maybe not in Scotland, but it's a great game.
Yeah, what a day out those boys are going to have tomorrow. Speaking of unforgettable days out, have you won one of them as mascot of your favourite team tomorrow here at Celtic Park? We asked Hearts fans, when did the Jambos last win the Scottish Cup? Well, the answer is 1956. And to lead out Rangers, who scored a hat-trick in the 1996 Cup final, that was Gordon Durie. And the winners are Gordon Bell from Thornley Bank in Glasgow, who follows Hearts, and Rangers fan Rachel McLeod from Perth. And the two of you, hope you have a terrific day tomorrow. Well, not content with just that giveaway, we're now offering you the chance to win a trip to see Rangers or Hearts play in Europe. You'll travel with your team to their first away game next season, courtesy of tomorrow's match sponsors Tennent's. All you have to do is pick your man of the match, and if BBC Scotland's football analyst Gordon Smith agrees with your choice, you could be there. Once you've made your decision, phone 0891 447755 and the winner will be selected at random from all of the entries. The lines are open right now and they close at 4:30 tomorrow. The winners will be announced at the end of tomorrow's Cup final, so good luck to you. Well, that's it from Friday Sports Scene for this season, but we'll be with Hearts and Rangers every step of the way tomorrow on Cup Final Sports Scene. We get underway at 5 to 1 with the big build-up, then there's live coverage of the game itself. And if you can't get to a television, Radio Scotland's coverage opens up at 9:30 with John Beattie's Sports Weekly and continues from 1 with On the Ball. Sports Sound kicks off at 1:30 and there's Celtic Park highlights plus FA Cup final action at 10:50. Well, another Tennent's Scottish Cup campaign is drawing to a close. They started pre-qualifying way back in August. Now only 2 teams remain. Only one of them can win. Make sure you're with us to see which one. Goodbye.
Falkirk.